Hello and welcome to another episode of Behind the Boardroom. Joining us today is Satyam Khandelwal, who is a career coach and has mentored over 10,000 plus students across the globe. How are you feeling, Satyam, sir?
Great, Ritesh. Thank you so much for inviting.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Today we are going to bust a lot of myths around career growth, career development, and everything around there. So starting off, sir, please introduce yourself to our audience and what do you exactly do?
So as Ritesh has already introduced, my name is Satyam Khandelwal. I am a management professional turned career growth coach with an experience of around 11 plus years in the industry, 8 years in the career growth segment, having helped over 10,000 graduates as well as professionals achieve fast-paced career growth in the areas that aligns with their passion, and this is where I derive my satisfaction from.
So that's amazing, sir. So let's start without any further delay. So I wanted to know, like you had a very healthy job back in 2014 or 2015 when you started this career growth and thing. So what drove you to this career development and decided to leave your really healthy paying job?
So I actually passed out of my MBA in 2012. From there I got placed from campus in one of the leading FMCG companies in India. Profile was good. It was a strategic profile where I learned a lot of concepts around, since my majors was in marketing. I learned a lot of concepts, applications of brand building, brand promotions, go-to-market strategies, campaign management, etc. One of the part there was also consumer behavior, and I credit that part a lot when it comes to my interest in analyzing the psychology of my consumers now and then recommending them. It was a highly enriching job. I still am, I'm thankful to the company as well as my team back then. During then, I was actually invited. It was a one-off case. I was invited by my alma mater, which is IMT Ghaziabad, for a speaking gig, and by their placement committee actually. And I just ended up actually accepting that. And when I went there, I talked to the students, I realized that they are liking it, I was deriving satisfaction, and then post that speaking gig, the satisfaction, the adrenaline rush was like really high. And somehow the committee there recommended me to the committees of other B schools in and around Delhi NCR. That is how I started, accepting these kind of speaking gigs. And then I realized somewhere in 2015 that this is somewhere I want to, work in. And this is the direction I want to pick. So that is how it started.
So when you decided to quit your job, so what was the reaction of your family, friends and colleagues?
To be honest, I mean, my colleagues back there were really shocked. At that time, I mean, it was the startup culture and everything was picking up. Though it had no role, the startup culture and the hype had no role to play in my decision of leaving my job and picking up this specific direction. But then my colleagues there were really shocked. They were surprised, and they could not find any valid, any justified reason for someone leaving a job. It was a highly sought after job. I mean, you get into one of the top B schools in India, then you get a seat in one of the sought after companies, and then you leave that. It was highly unheard of. So colleagues' responses were, of course, on the expected lines. As far as my family is concerned, they were mixed reactions. Some of them were happy because they thought that I want to come back home and stay with them. That is my motivation. So I let them think that. So that's fine. Some of them didn't find logic in this decision. So there were mixed reactions. Anybody who had lived this journey would be at that time was really surprised or shocked to hear this.
It was 2015. If today it's easier to convince people to dive into these sort of
today careers, it's a fashion to leave your jobs.
It's a fashion, but that time it was a very big call. So moving on, let's talk with a career coach now. So what is that one common thing that you notice in every candidate, or one common problem? Like if a candidate is applying for jobs or want to grow in their job, so what is that one common thing that you find?
Multiple, but if I have to pick one, it would be the hurry of, or let's say the focus on quick results, focus on instant gratification. I think this is a problem with, generically with human beings, but with working professionals, with graduates, this is the problem that they are facing, that they want to quickly focus on results. For example, if I look at the DMs on my Instagram or LinkedIn feed today, almost 10 to 15 DMs would look like, can you help me get a job? Can you refer me to a position? I'm really looking for a job. I want to start earning ASAP. this is the kind of DMs that I get, 10 to 15 per day. 3 to 4 DMs per day would look like, can you help me revamp my resume? Can you help me understand what kind of job should I apply for? Can you guide me how to apply, how should a good application look like? Now, these are the people who are focused on process, on the steps, because they know if they take care of the process will take care of the results. Most of the people, more than 90% I've come across, focus on quick results. Yeah. And people who focus on quick results, either they quit too early because the anxiety of the results, or they shift their path very often. Yeah. This is not working, let's move to this. This is not working, let's move to this. This is the common problem, like most common problem that I'm facing.
The next one is for the students basically. The students who are new to college or they're in the second, third years in their college, they don't have any experience. So most of the time they're confused what to add in a resume or how to build a resume. So what will be your recommendations to them?
Sure. I mean, there are a few things that happens in a natural way with the students, which is their studies, their academics, their courses, certifications, whatever. Now, it's also important to understand that everybody will have that. Yeah. Everybody will have courses, academic subjects in their resumes. So what makes you stand apart, right? Recruiters, employers today, or like even maybe for the past 2 decades now, are focusing a lot more on application-based learnings, application-based experiences, right? In your college, earlier at our times it was actually tough, but then now it's so easy. Internships, freelancing projects, experience in organizing events, participating in events. If you have some experience in managing something, facilitating something, organizing something, executing something, that is what will, differentiate your profile from the common crowd in college.
You can add that in your resume and describe your role in
100%. I mean, a 10-day course or let's say a 1-month course on digital marketing with a certificate on your resume versus a 7-day course on how to run FB ads plus a project where you have actually ran FB ads and generated something, whatever it is valued more. The second category of experience is valued much more as compared to the big certificate, in digital marketing for 1 month or I don't know how many, what kind of money would have a student spend there. But application-based experiences, application-based learnings are what recruiters are looking for today.
Yeah, this is something that I have also experienced on my end. Like I have seen most of the students, right, that they're always diving for big projects. They're always trying to find that one big thing. Like I started as a content writer, right? So when I was applying, people used to ask me, do you have any portfolio? At that time, I didn't have any portfolio. But I remember that on LinkedIn, there's a feature you can write articles. Yes. So I posted 4 and 5 articles, and when they asked about my portfolio, I used to give them this LinkedIn URL. And they liked it. But yeah, it's enough for us. So that's not a very big portfolio, but even the minor one counts.
There is application involved.
Yeah, there is application involved.
In place of you saying that I'm a good writer, I know the SEO gigs, I know how to write well, I know how to gain attention of the audience or the reader, you are actually putting it in the form of an article and sharing it with them. Yeah. So it's for them to analyze your work and not you just pitching about what you know, which everybody does. Yeah. Same thing goes with the resume as well.
Moving on to the next question. Like, let's talk about skill versus internship. Like, people have mixed feelings for that. Someone says you should focus on skills first, you should polish it more and more. And someone says, if you know the basic things, try to get an internship and learn more. What do you prefer, like skills versus internships?
How would you differentiate between skills and internship? Like, give me an example of a skill.
Suppose I'm a UI designer. I know the basics of UI, I know how to make it. Now I want to test myself. So should I go for internships or should I go for a course that will take me to more advanced level?
Upskilling or acquiring any skill has a process, right? The cycle would look like the first step is learn, the second step is apply, the third step is share. Until and unless you complete these 3 steps, I won't consider that you have acquired that skill, right? For example, UI UX. If you have learned the skill, you have completed 33% of attaining that skill. Yeah. If you apply it in some project, and when I say project, it should actually be a project. Somebody external to you should be able to evaluate it, right? And then you share the entire experience. If you are able to share it with some mentor of yours or somebody who does not know about UI UX, but you are able to now teach him or her, that completes the cycle of upskilling. Now in this cycle of upskilling, if there is internship that is involved, if there is a freelance project that is involved, or self-initiated projects like writing that LinkedIn article, everything works. But I think internship also comes within the purview of upskilling. They're not mutually exclusive. So skill versus, you might have asked courses versus internship,
Yeah, courses,
right?
internships.
So I'll always say there has to be a combination. What I would suggest is make it even more specific by asking certificate versus experience. So then I'll pick experience any day, because I have myself, for an experience of guiding my audience better, I have attempted hundreds of job applications. I got shortlisted to 50 plus interviews, right? And during the interview, I know I just interacted with the recruiters and I knew that I don't want to get that job, but it was because of experience. None of them, literally none of them, asked me to show the certificate, which I had written in my resume, whatever certificates I had. Everybody asked question on the experience. How did you apply this? What did you do in this? Can you explain, like you have written that you manage the project end to end. What do you mean by end to end? How did you manage cross-functional collaborations in this project? Everybody asked for the explanation. And the way I tell this story, the recruiters are the smartest of the lot. They would understand, have I actually done that, or I've read it somewhere or memorized, right? So experience counts more than certificates.
Yeah, this is something that I have also experienced. I've been into interviews, multiple interviews, and none of them asked about my degree or whatever education I'm pursued. They just asked for my basic introduction, what you are doing, and then every question is based on my experience. How have you done that? What was your experience and everything? So it happens like this only. So moving on to the next question, like most of the students who are finding a job right now. So the unorthodox method is just go on LinkedIn, write your preferences, find a job, make a resume and apply. But the conversion rate or getting a response is very tough right now. So what are the other methods that they can try?
Okay, so there are other methods that they can try. And then there are ways to try this method more efficiently, right? Let me pick the second one first. So yesterday I was having an interaction with one of the clients from UK. It was a discovery call which got converted. She's in the coaching system now. She was really, really depressed because for the last 2 months, in fact 3 months, she had been applying for multiple job roles. Maybe she said that she had applied for 50 plus job applications in the last 2 months. Zero responses, right? I asked her, like, can you take me through the process? How do you apply? So she would look for jobs on LinkedIn out of desperation. Some jobs would be places where she wants to go. Some jobs is something that she's just picking out of sheer desperation. She has a standard resume which she paid a resume writer to draft. Good resume writers. The resume writer drafted a really good resume. What she's doing is the resume is kept there. And with every job application, she's applying, she's putting in the job application, the details, and she's uploading the resume and she's applying, right? Now, we have to understand here that for every job, in India, so there are tens of thousands of applications, but even in UK, there are thousands of applications, right? For every job, for every good job. How do you accept the recruiter to go through the 1,000 resumes? Is it practically possible? No. It's not practically possible. So either they will be picking with some random logic, which most of the recruiters don't do these days, or what most of them do is they will deploy an ATS.
Yeah. What is an ATS?
So ATS is an application tracking software. Okay. You can call it an application tracking system. It does nothing. It's a gatekeeper for the recruiters to get the relevant resumes in.
Got it.
How do they do it? There are two basic things that they feed in the ATS. One is formatting. So ATS reads a certain format. It could be a PDF format, Word format, which they write in the job description that their resume should be PDF or Word, whatever. Plus, they feed certain keywords, right? Which is very, very similar to the SEO thing. Yeah. Now, ATS is not a human. It does not have any other logic apart from what you feed in the ATS. So, those keywords and that format, if the ATS finds in a resume, it shortlists it. It assigns a score, and above a certain score, it gives the resumes to the recruiter. Now, if you use a standard draft of a resume and then you apply for hundreds of jobs, in your mind, you're doing the hard work. And then you're blaming the universe that your hard work is not yielding results. But are you focusing on the process? Recruiters are recruiting because there is some gap in their organization, some problem that they need to solve, some need that they need to fulfill. If you present yourself as an answer to that problem, then your chances are high. But to present yourself as an answer to that problem, you need to know the problem first. Where is the problem? Where is the problem described? They are described in the job description. Now, those are the keywords that are there in the job description that are fed in ATS. So, if your resume is not speaking the language of the job description, then you have wasted those number of applications. Doesn't matter whether you have applied for 100 or 1000 or whatever the number is. So, you need to have customized resumes every time you apply for these kind of roles. Every time. You have to have customized resumes, right? By customized, I don't mean you have to create your resumes from scratch every time. You have a standard draft, which is good. But now you have the keywords. In some companies, they call it business development. In some other companies, they'll call the similar thing sales management. In some other companies in UK, they call it account management. They all mean the same thing. The role is similar, but they are using the different words. Now you are the most qualified, but you are writing your experiences from the perspective of sales. They are writing it from the perspective of business development. And then you're not shortlisted. And then you ask yourself, why am I not shortlisted? This is exact something that I do. I'm the most qualified here. This is where people are going wrong. This is just one example, right? This example focuses on the process when you apply for jobs, what one small additional thing you can do, and that will increase the chance. I'm not saying then you'll get shortlisted for every job, but the probability, the number of shortlistings will increase significantly. This is how you can use the existing method more efficiently.
So here you are trying to say like have a standard draft with the required information that has to go in every job application, but have some difference in the experiences or in the terminology. Yes. And change it according to the job description. Understand it and see what they're looking for exactly. And then make changes to your resume. You don't have to build a new resume, but just have to make changes, minor changes or some terminology changes in your previous resume. And this will increase your chances 100%. Of getting shortlisted or getting noticed by the recruiter.
Yes, minor tweakings.
Yeah. Let's have a comparison between hard skills and soft skills. Like most of the people don't know what is hard skill and what is soft skills. And those who know, they like highly focus themselves on hard skills. They ignore all the soft skills. So how does these two help you in a job or in your career growth and career development?
So both are important. Goes without saying. 100% both are important. The one difference that I found out is if you are short on hard skills, when I say hard skills, it could be technical skills, it could be functional skills, something that you can learn, something that you can do a course on, apply and then complete the upskilling process. If you are short on hard skills but are good in soft skills, you're still in a better position. Why? Because technical skills could be learned in a finite period of time. Like, for example, recently we facilitated a domain shift for one of my clients who shifted from pre-sales to project management within a span of 2 months. Now, since all the soft skills that was required in project management, he already had because he was in pre-sales. So, problem solving, team management, product demonstrations, communication skills, coaching skills, everything was there. But the knowledge, the technical knowledge when it came to Scrum or Agile was not there. It took him 2 months to get that knowledge.
To learn that skill.
Just to learn that skill, to apply in some dummy projects, and then he was good to go for interviews. He applied in his own company and then other companies. He got a good offer from a different company, and a company that required a Scrum Master took him with just one skill in application, but focusing more on the soft skills part, and he got through. So that is the advantage when you have built soft skills over time, because if you're short on soft skills, it's not that you don't stand a chance, but they don't get built like, in 2 months or 1 month or like 1 week. It requires, a distributed span of time, a lot of practice to build soft skills like problem solving or negotiations or communication.
You know what? There is something that I find very funny these days. Like people, first of all, don't know what soft skills are. And those who know, they think it's just how good speaker you are or how good your English is. But little did they know that it's not just about speaking or English. Empathy is there, team building is there, problem solving is there, a good communication, corporate communication skills are there, negotiation skills are there. Like a soft skill is a vast thing in it itself. And personally, it has helped me a lot in like getting opportunities or something. Because I have the hard skills which is required for the job. And I feel like that soft skills act as a catalyst which helps you grow better than the other person. Like skills, everybody has skills. Someone has better, someone has less than you, but in terms of soft skills, you can be better than them and it can act as a catalyst. And it has helped me on the first hand. Because I'm very open with taking feedbacks. I just go to people and ask them for feedbacks. Then I get a note of it. Then I improve it. Then if I have any idea, I directly approach my founders or the colleagues and I share with them. Okay, let's see what can come out. And this brainstorming session, it really helps me get the crux of my idea, the things which I'm lacking. So obviously soft skills helps a lot. So talking about that career coach, people think like it is a very highly professional job, very hectic job. You have to be professional every time. There are a set of rules that you have to follow every time with every candidate. But I want to know, what is that unconventional method that you have given to your student or some clients that worked out?
Any job that you pick, if you don't like it, it becomes hectic. It takes a lot of energy out of you. If you work on something you like, you don't realize where did the day go. Like in some other work, if I work, if I have a task that stretches for let's say 5 to 6 hours at a go, I'll be very, very tired and I'll look out for a break. But if I have sessions, if I have career guidance sessions, one-to-one career clarity sessions, if I plan for 5 and it gets stretched, and let's say I do that for, as against 5 hours, I do that for 8 hours straight, I'll be more energized when I come out. That is the difference when you work on something that you like, right? So hectic or not hectic depends on what kind, how much aligned you are with your life's calling, right? When you are working. So that is the first part of the question. Unconventional things that I have tried is when you, so today, a lot of people are working on transactional basis. Like they will offer something, they'll charge in return. They'll offer something and then they'll charge in return. So when you work that way, it's less likely to go on unconventional because people are coming to you for some service, whether it's resume revamp, whether it is interview preparation, you give that advice and then you charge. Now, thankfully, following my mentor, Siddharth Rajshekhar, I took a lot of coaching from him when I was in my journey to becoming a digital career coach. He emphasized on the importance of being community driven. That you don't work on transactional basis, you work on relationship building basis. And then there is where I started building a community. So whoever came into my coaching community, they also started interacting with each other and everything. Now when I first implemented that, what I realized was there were 2 members in my community who had exact gaps which could be fulfilled by each other. So one was really good in terms of the technical skills but lacked discipline big time. The other was looking for the same technical skills but was highly, highly disciplined. And when in my community, in my coaching system, when people come in, discipline and daily routine is also a big, big thing, right? Because no career can be grown, no life can be improved if the discipline is lacking, right? So we work a lot on daily schedulers. It was the first time it happened 2 months back. The first time when I directly connected 2 of my community members, that is 2 of my clients with each other. And I still believe that I would not have been able to bring out that kind of an impact in both of them, which they independently brought up. So the guy, both have both skills now. This guy has the technical skills, plus he was already disciplined. This guy has attained discipline with the technical skills. They both are doing really, really well in their career. So that is something that worked really well for us.
That's one of the unique things that I've heard so far. Like you are not coaching them; they both are coaching each other.
Just facilitating,
just acting. You're just being there as a mentor to them and mentoring everything. So talking about networking and connections, what I have seen most of the time, like when you ask people about their networks or connections, they start counting their LinkedIn connections. Hey, I have this person on my LinkedIn, I'm connected to this person on the LinkedIn. So let's break some myths about networking. Like what is networking and how it can help you in your career and everything.
To be honest, I will not blame anybody. There was a time when I counted my LinkedIn connections as well, the number of followers that I have, to find the value of my network. But I realized at the right time, anyway, things come to you at the right time, that this is not the factor that decides how good network you have. What kind of value does your network bring in? Number of followers and number of connections don't decide that. In your community, in your LinkedIn community or Instagram community, when your name is taken, or when there is a discussion about your field, what is the possibility that your name comes up? In the small community of Space Station or content creators in Bhilai, if there is a talk about career guidance, does my name pop up? That is the value that I've created among my network in this community. Same goes with LinkedIn. People who know you for what you do and will seek out for you when something, a similar need comes up, is what is your network. And it does not come again when you think transactional. People think that if you want to get a job, you send a message to a recruiter or LinkedIn, I'm looking for a job, I'm looking for a job. That is network. That is not networking. The best networking happens when you are not there to ask for something. The best networking happens when you are there to extend value. When you have some value to offer, that is the best time to do networking. The problem is people again don't focus on the process. When they are doing really good in their careers, when they have a stable job, they'll not even look at LinkedIn. Right? The moment they realize that either they need to shift for whatever reason, maybe the company is asking, maybe they want to shift, whatever is happening, then they'll move to LinkedIn. And then they don't have anything to offer but to ask. And that is not the best time. I'm not saying you cannot look at LinkedIn. There are strategies to work around that part as well. But that is not the best time to create your network. The best time to create your network is when you have something to offer. Which means when you are satisfied, when you are stable, that is the best time to create your network. And the network that you create at that time actually turns out to be the high value network. Right?
So, yet again, extending this question, like I have a lot of networks, talking about LinkedIn connections or my contact information. I have a lot of people. I know them, they know me, but somewhere I feel like they don't exactly know the work I do. So even if in the future, if they find someone or find some work that I can do, but they'll never know that I am doing that work. So how to create values in their eyes, or how to create values in my community people? So what are the ways to do that?
That is a very valid question actually. So that is the difference between people knowing you personally and people knowing you professionally, right? And that is also something that personal brand stands for. What does your LinkedIn brand stands for, right? There are different ways of re-hitting in people's mind what you stand for. One is the static way, of course, what you write on your LinkedIn designations, what you write on the tagline, how does your cover picture look like. The more they visit your LinkedIn profile, there is re-hitting. Okay, this guy stands for this guy stands for this, right? The second way, which is a very, very effective way, is I have facilitated myself a lot of LinkedIn audio events.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, so with my potential clients, I keep on conducting interviews, conducting podcasts like these, using their expertise to guide my audience. In some way, I keep on connecting with them. During that connect, in the coordination process, when I have like prep calls with them, when during the event as well, post events, the gratitude exchange and everything, I ensure that what I stand for comes out. This is something that works really, really well if you are looking to target your potential clients. People might not respond to your message when you're saying, I'm looking for a job, I do this, do you need video editing, do you need content writing, do you need, everybody needs it. But at that particular moment, they're not thinking about that. Nobody wants to spend their time on things that they're not thinking, that which is not the top priority in their mind. But messages like, would you be available to be a guest speaker in my podcast? Would you be open to being a guest in my interview? I want to conduct an interview. I want to conduct a LinkedIn live audio event. Will you be able to share your expertise with my audience? These are the stuff which gives people a feeling of appreciation, recognition, right? And these are happy feelings. So when you hit people with happy feelings, they're more likely to respond. So these are the ways actually to connect with your network and extract higher values.
There's one thing that I usually did for the past 3-4 months. What I used to do, I used to go to a cafe, order the cheapest coffee. It could be a black coffee or a cappuccino. I just take it, I go to a table and start working there. And I used to be there for 4 or 5 hours. And I used to do it every day for 1 week, 10 days. What I've noticed on 10th and 11th day, some people came to me. They approached me and they asked me, what do you do? So then I started telling them about my journey and about the things which I did. So at that time, they asked me, hey, can you do this something for me or do this? So I'm like, yeah, sure. So at that time, I used to do it for free. And once they knew the quality and everything, so I got some minor projects out of them. And what do you say? It repaid for the coffee that I've spent for the next 10 or 11 days.
So you were present, you were visible to them.
Yeah.
Without even selling.
They noticed me working every day. They see that this guy is always sitting here with a cup of coffee and continuously working. So that curiosity obviously comes in. So this is one of the things that I have personally experienced. And I've also got some clients from them. They referred to some of their friends. They approached me, hey, he told me that you did something like that. I'm like, yeah. So these are one of the things, my secrets that I do. So let's talk about the corporate peoples, right? Those people who are already in corporate. So when do you think is the right time to switch your job or change your domain or change your company? When do you think is the right time to switch?
So generally, there are three criteria, and your job, your existing stint should fulfill at least one of it.
Yeah.
Right? Either it should pay you enough, either it should have enough learnings, either it should have a great work-life balance. Yeah. At least one of these things should meet, right? If all three are not meeting, then it's the right time to shift. Like if there is, if in the checklist all three are not checked, then it's 100% the right time to shift. Some people preferably will, pick two out of these. I need good money, I need good work-life balance. If either one of this is not there, I won't stay in this job. I would like to shift. So these are the checkpoints which you need to, understand to ensure whether you are in the right job or not, and whether it's the right time to shift. So these three criteria I generally used to follow, and it's a well-known and well-accepted three-pointer criteria for people to shift jobs.
There is one thing that I want to know, and people have asked me as well. Like when it comes to shifting a job, right? So people also look forward for their peace, basically mental peace and the work-life balance. So in job description, everything is written. Like what will be your salary, how much you'll be working. But how do I know what the actual culture is in that company? Because in my current company, I had a very good culture. The colleagues were very good, my founders very good, my managers very, very good to me. Now it's my time to shift. So how do I know that I'll get the same or better culture in the other company?
So in today's world, I mean, every connection is facilitated by human-to-human connections, right? So when you talk about culture, you're actually talking about people in the company. People build cultures. I mean, there is no book that needs to be followed. Of course, they have a rule book and everything. But the way people are, the way people behave, is how the company's culture will come out to the new employees, right? Everybody who wants to get into a company or are in the decision-making mindset, I always encourage at least my community members to talk to people who are there in the target companies. And let's say if you reach out to somebody saying that I have got an offer and about to finalize my candidature for this company, this profile, would you be open for a quick chat? I just need to understand the cultural fit and how I can improve, how I can perform the best in my first 3 months or 6 months. Now, if somebody, let's say you approach 10 of such employees in the target company, if none of them is responding, that also says something about the company, right? If somebody is responding, of course, after talking to him or her, you would analyze and realize what kind of culture there is. But if you are actually about to join a company and nobody is responding, that also speaks a lot about. So this is how you interact. That's the only way to check. Still after that, once you go inside and you check, there are some controllable factors, some uncontrollable factors. If you have acted on your controllable factors, whatever you can do to adapt to the culture by sticking to a healthy mindset, if you have done it but still the culture is not supportive, I would not encourage my community members to stay there, right? But again, not saying that you leave everything. You don't leave a home to build a new home, right? You start building the new home, and then when it's ready or about to get ready, then you move, then you plan your shift.
Do you really think this startup and entrepreneurship is quite overused or overrated?
I would have to say, unfortunately, yes. The reason being, I interact with a lot of college students, a lot of early stage working professionals due to my speaking gigs. Everybody somehow in the last 4 or 5 years is talking about entrepreneurship. They want to start a business, they want to get investment, they want to become big and stuff like that. Again, not focusing on the process. What does entrepreneurship stand for? In fact, even in schools, now with AIM and adult tinkering labs getting into schools, I got an opportunity to mentor a few schools here in my region for adult tinkering, and then good initiatives, everything was good. But then sometimes what happens is people get attracted to the promotional gimmicks rather than the process. These initiatives have been started to induce innovation and creativity and problem solving among students, right? and they have taken it as, now all of us have to become entrepreneurs. All of us have to become startup runners, founders, which is not the way to go. Well, a while back it happened for engineering, sometimes back it happened for medical, then for law, and now it's happening for entrepreneurship. It will soon, like, people would understand, you have to become problem solvers, you have to become creative thinkers, you must be good innovators. You have to develop that mindset of problem solving while you're a student. You have to develop that mindset of creative thinking. Now, whether you use that mindset for your friend's company, for your employer, for your content creator journey, or as a consultant or as a solopreneur, is your take. I don't think entrepreneurship versus job is anything like it's even heterogeneous anymore. People are in their jobs enjoying great freedom. People are startup founders who do not have a single second for themselves, pressurized by investors, clients, etc., by co-founders, etc. People who are consultant who are enjoying their work-life balance. People who are solopreneurs who are managing their time, owning their freedom of location, freedom of decision making. Everything can happen in all of these kind of employment arrangement. But if you just give that hype to entrepreneurship, there is highly likely that some college will come up with a course in entrepreneurship. They'll oversell it. People will invest their money because they think that this is entrepreneurship, and I think it has already started, and that's not the right way to go.
One thing I've seen, like earlier, entrepreneurship was a mindset, something that people want to pursue. There was a passion around it. Today, it has become an adjective. People are using it like everywhere. Hey, I'm an entrepreneur. What your idea is? Like I'm not talking about everyone, but most of the people that I have seen around me. So from them, entrepreneurship is about the luxury that comes after that. But they're not understanding the process behind it. So this is one thing that I usually see. It was the same mindset of me around a year ago, but when I got to know the reality. And then there was a reality check, which I got recently, was that like there was a question on startup, a college student doing a startup, or a job, a person who has been into this industry for 2-3 years, then he's doing the startup. So the basic thing I got to know about is why experience is important. Because people know, yeah, I have an idea, I'll build a prototype, I'll go to the investors, I'll ask for money, they'll give me, I'll build my startup. That's not how it works. You don't know how a pitching session looks like, what investors are looking for, how you will create your pitch, what is a prototype, what is a MVP, blah, blah, blah. There are multiple terminologies. They are not having any idea about this, but yeah, we want to do a startup. So these are one of the loopholes that I've seen. So moving on, Satyam sir, what will be your tip to college students and to the corporate people? What will be your tips in order to have a good career ahead or get a boost in their career?
I mean, if I have to give them a common tip, that would be to look inside first. A lot of them, like the common problem which students as well as corporate people, professionals face today is they are too much into the external world. They look out for trends and they quickly want to move to encash those trends. Now I get queries of, how should I move to data science? How should I move to AI? How should I move to this? Just like students asking, how can I become an entrepreneur? If you look inside first and if you set your priorities right, and then you look outside, there are hundreds of fields that would fulfill those checklists, that would match those checklists of yours if you have set your priorities right. And setting priorities right is more of looking inwards rather than outwards. So first you look inwards, set your priorities, set your goals. What do you want from your work and life? And then you look out. There will be hundreds of options that can fulfill that. And everything else you can pursue as a hobby.
And I don't think so there is a concept like most of the people believe like there is a very good profession or there is a very bad profession. It just depends on how good you are at something, how adaptive you are with the changing technology.
True.
Right. And if you have these two skills, so I don't think so there is any competition. You can easily grow.
100%. For example, AI is like sought after thing today. Does not mean that I'll become an AI engineer or AI consultant. I am learning how to use AI tools and I'm trying to apply that in my career coaching journey. For example, now to analyze keywords in resume, we use ChatGPT, sometimes Bard. It saves
a lot of time.
So we use that. I mean, that does not mean I'll start becoming an AI consultant because I have that part, because AI is trendy.
So that was some really great insights from Satyam sir regarding your career growth, resume building, the company stereotypes, the real world stereotypes. It was great having you, Satyam sir, on this podcast. And hopefully we are going to shoot more episodes ahead with more questions of the audience. So thank you so much once again for being here. So This was Satyam Khandelwal. I am Ritesh. See you in the next episode on Behind the Boardroom. Thank you so much.